In Los Angeles, a killer the police are calling the Hillside Strangler has murdered 10 young women and left their bodies on the hillsides along the highway.
It was as if a wave of evil washed over this town.
We are all evil in some form or another.
Hello,
Hi.
Janelle and Vicky from
The Bad Taste Podcast. I didn't think we were going to do it at the same time.
Yeah.
That was nice.
You did it. That was
We did
perfect. So, welcome to our hybrid. This is Maybe It's Spiritual also
Mind
representing Mind Meld. We're doing a crossover, guys, if you hadn't figured that out yet.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Very
thank you
And
for
hosting
contacting
us, yeah.
you got a hold of me. So I'm excited to do this.
Yeah. We have had to stop so many times because we just keep getting into stuff.
Yeah.
But,
We got juicy stories.
All right, here we go.
oh gosh.
Just dive right in.
Just dive right in. No, so tell me a little bit about your podcast, who you guys are. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
So we co-host a true crime podcast called The Bad Taste Crime Cast. I always call it like a variety show because it's not like a serial podcast. We don't just talk about one subject matter. We cover a lot of like murder, and we've done cannibalism,
murder.
white collar crime, cults.
That's a big one.
Government corruption.
Yes.
Wow.
Which for like Chicago is like the super hotbed.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
lots
thing.
of Chicago
Yeah.
The
stories.
Windy City.
Yeah. So there's like a little something in there for everybody.
Nice.
But we just get together and talk about it. Sorry, my Google is talking to me for some reason.
We didn't understand you, Vicky.
Nobody does.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Nobody
kind of
does.
like we pick a topic, one like each, and
Yes.
we kind of tell each other a story. So
Yeah.
we don't know what we're going to be listening to.
Ooh, that's fun.
So it
Yeah.
keeps it exciting. It
Yeah.
keeps the relationship alive. No.
Okay, that's weird. I don't.
You got to keep it fresh.
gotta keep it
I didn't know
spicy.
that we were in a relationship
We're in a podcast
like
relationship,
that.
which is
That's a
the
big
most
deal.
The most serious.
No, that's a big deal.
And probably the longest relationship I've been in, honestly. It's
Not
almost,
me,
almost
but
4
definitely
years.
you, yeah.
Yeah, well, you've been dating Bo for like 50 years, so
Yes.
you heard me.
Yes.
It's like, it's time, Bo.
Yes.
It's time.
Just saying.
Sorry. I don't even know who that is.
But yeah, we like to get together and talk about murder. That's kind of the whole thing.
Nice.
That's what got us started. And now we're here talking about spookier things.
Yes, which we
Nice.
have covered a little bit on our podcast because I'm always like, we need something creepy.
Yeah.
So I bring the ghosts occasionally or
Nice.
the paranormal things.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
where we live with the ghosts. Yeah, everybody's got ghost stories. So many people have ghost stories.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, wait, my ghost story. But the kitchen cabinets were moving. You know?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, okay. That's part of it. That's part of it. You're the skeptic.
Yes.
I
So
All right,
am,
we got to
yeah.
introduce that. So
Yeah.
Vicky is skeptical.
I
am. Sometimes I'm skeptical, but I lean more towards being interested in all
Yeah.
things paranormal.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I always feel like skeptical is like immediately thinking you don't believe any of this stuff or you don't. I just feel very much like I need evidence, like some sort of.
Oh, sure.
There's so many things that are logical explanations.
Yeah.
Like the human brain is super tricky. Like it's very easy to convince yourself of anything.
Right.
Especially if you've got some sort of like preconceived notion, like I'm going into this thing and it's going to be spooky ookie,
Right.
And
And then
we're
never
going to
is.
see a ghost, and then everything that you hear is a ghost, you know, or
right.
so that. But you know, I also have a lot of people that I know and I respect that have very legitimate experiences that I am not trying to discredit at all. Like I do think those things legitimately happen, but it's like,
Right.
what is the explanation for that? Is it actually like a spirit from the other side? Or is it something very logical?
Yeah.
But we can talk about all the theories.
Oh yeah, and we'll,
Yeah.
and we'll
Talk
get
about
into
the
that because
theories.
that's
Yeah.
kind of part of our thing. Is like,
Yeah.
you know, I let people tell their tale, and then we chat about it, and then at the end, I ask them the tough questions. What do you think it is?
Yeah,
What do
'cause
you
we
think
have,
happened?
We have
Yeah.
brought this up because we went and did a ghost hunt
Which
with the
is so
Dan
cool.
Norville project at the Tinker Swiss Cottage
Yeah.
for one of our like
Ooh.
crossover
Yeah,
episodes.
which was very cool.
And it was very interesting because we have never done that before. Like in high school, we would go out to Cuba Road.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and
We'll
done
talk
stuff
about
like
that,
that. But it was very interesting to see the scientific aspects of their investigation, because I want evidence,
Right.
but I have a little bit different feelings on that, because I
will say it's like heavy quotes scientific.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
like very heavy attempt at making it scientific, but
Yeah.
With, like the equipment and all the
Yeah.
the gadgets.
ghost boxes.
and
What is a ghost box?
it's like a radio thing that flips through stations
Different
really
frequencies.
quickly.
Like
Yeah.
the white noise thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is that you should be able to pick up words or pieces of phrases
Yes.
as it flips through these
Oh, sure.
stations.
With
Yeah,
the
yeah.
premise that it is
Yeah.
that the ghosts are energy, and then they're picking up that sort of wavelength.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah.
the premise of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About. We're not experts.
We're not.
That's okay.
kind
I
of
just
it.
want. I hear people say ghost box.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. Now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the EVPs are just strictly like
Electrical.
electro. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of similar,
And then you got dowsing rods.
which is what we did, which was a trip.
Oh my god. That was like,
Did you find some stuff?
no.
Okay.
So the whole
That's a hard no for me.
I
nope.
am skeptic with dowsing rods.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the premise of that, which is
Yeah.
along the lines of Ouija boards,
Yeah.
which is that whole thing. But with the dowsing,
Shut the hell up. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna throw
This
that
is coming
outside.
off now.
With the dowsing rods, there is this kind of like mental connection and physical connection with your muscles where you're doing micro movements.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you're thinking of the questions, your body is reacting.
Yeah. So, for listeners who don't know what dowsing rods are, they are it's basically a piece of metal that's on a right angle. So it's like an L that you hold the bottom part of with the top of the L sticking outwards inside of a hollow tube. Like it could be metal, it could be plastic. So basically
We
it's
had
like
glow in the dark ones at one point.
they were like LED with lights.
I felt like I was at a rave. It was very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
We were up in the Tinker's Cottage, and I'm like, this does not feel right.
So they're almost like this free hanging thing in this little tube. So any slight movement, like to the left
Even
or the
a
right,
draft
can move these
affect it.
things. Yeah, and I mean, I definitely think there's people who are very adept at using these. I mean, you get enough practice at it,
Sure.
Yeah.
you'll get really good at
Those
it.
sound
Which
high
I
tech.
did do a little bit like, so you ask the question and it's yes to one side, no to the other side. And if, I did a little like, okay, well, I'm thinking about yes. And then it starts to move because you're having that reaction in your brain going into your muscles and your body. The idea that people are tapping into the spirit and it's going through them is the premise of why dowsing rods work.
Nice. We had one guest talk about the dowsing rods.
Yeah,
Yeah. Rhiannon, if you're listening, I said it right. I couldn't say her name.
Next time you have somebody on that uses dowsing rods, like you should ask this as a pre-question for everybody that you have on, because then you need to have them bring them.
Yes.
So that you can play around with these dowsing rods. Because if you've never used them, using them, that's one of those things that I feel like I've always seen in like the ghost hunting shows and these like medium whatevers that they have.
It is essentially exactly the same premise as a pendulum or a Ouija
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
Right, you're just putting your energy into an object and giving.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had anybody bring anything. We did. I mean, Eamon wanted to create a sigil, and I was like, maybe don't.
Yeah,
And like, I was like, we don't have to talk about
chaos
that.
magic is a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I spent like a whole night reading about chaos magic, and I was like, no sigils.
Yes, because you have to go through a lot of wrong before it ever becomes
Yeah.
maybe kind of
I
right.
think he could do it though. I believe Amy could do it. It's Aaron's house, so I don't want. I
Yeah,
don't want to
maybe
yeah, do a
like a
sigil.
I mean,
out
it's
in
nice that you're
the street.
considerate enough to be like, well, even though this isn't my house, still don't do it.
Yeah. No, I don't want. I mean, he'd be mad.
Yeah. Let's not
If you-
do sigil.
Dude, remember that sigil? Not good. Not good. So, all right. So, who's got a story to tell?
We both have a couple stories.
All right. Who wants
Yeah.
to go first?
Do you want me to go first?
It doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, mine are only kind of half stories.
Yeah,
So.
mine.
That's okay.
I mean, I have a couple.
Okay.
So
How about we take turns?
Yes,
Is that
we'll
cool?
do
Okay.
one and one and
Sounds
one and one.
so good.
I love it.
Yeah, so I have had kind of a connection with spiritualism and paranormal activity since I was young.
All
My
right.
mom would tell me all kinds of stories of things that happened to her. She lived next door to a witch, and she lived in Cleveland.
That's legit.
So I've always had an interest in that, and of course I grew up in the 90s, which is like peak,
Oh my God, The Craft.
peak the craft
The
era.
Craft.
So
Wow, we just watched that the other night.
Yes, you best be believing I
Yes.
had the pentagrams and I was doing all
really
the things.
was,
I
yeah.
was goth as fuck in middle school.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
We had a bunch of girls kicked out of our private school because of the craft.
yes,
What?
I scared
Oh, yeah.
the shit. I don't think I've ever told you this. I scared
Ooh,
the
here
shit
we
out of
go.
my brothers.
Okay.
I took sidewalk chalk and I drew a pentagram in the carpet under their bed. And I was like, you best not be messing with me because
Oh my
they would gang
God.
up on me because I have twin brothers.
Yeah.
And I was like, something bad's going to happen to you.
You went full craft.
I went full crap
You
on
went
them.
full
And,
crap. So funny.
and then my brother went under to like get some toy box out there and he's like, Janelle drew a pentagram under our bed. And I was like, Jesus. So,
Oh my God, yes.
so I've been testing everyone's face
so
since
good.
a young age.
So good.
Mom, it's just a pentagram. It's
A
fine.
pentagram, just a
I'm trying to think back if there was a
Satan.
day where they came to school, because I went to school with her younger brothers. They came to school and they were like, oh my God, we found this pentagram underneath our beds. It was crazy. My sister's a
Probably
witch.
not. He took like a sock and was like, oh. Just sidewalk chalk, calm down. So I have been very interested in that. And my mom and my dad were kind of like, believe whatever you want, find your own spiritualism, because I mean they grew up in very kind of religiously strict households.
Oh,
so
sure.
they're like, just whatever you want to, explore, do it. So I was like, all right, paganism it is. And so I kind of like
Naturally.
went down this rabbit hole of like looking into it, and because of my heritage, I'm Irish and I'm also Chalahi, which is Cherokee. And so I was kind of like interested in that sort of thing and figuring out where do I fit? What is my belief?
Right.
And so for Christmas one year, I asked for a Ouija board, as you do.
That does not surprise me in the
As one
slightest.
does. And of course, I had that mint Hasbro given to me by Santa. It's a little, from Santa.
Santa's open, man.
Santa
Santa
is secretly pagan.
Santa has pagan roots, so yes.
He knows what's up.
So I got a Ouija board, and I had a group of friends. This was 7th grade. And my friends lived out in the middle of nowhere cornfield out in Union. And we would have sleepovers all the time. No big deal. Nothing out of the ordinary. But I decided to bring my Ouija board. And I had to hide it because her mother was very, very religious. Like, she didn't even want me in the house kind of religious.
Oh, yeah. 90s Christian moms, you bring a Ouija board.
I know.
That's
So I was
it.
like,
You're never
it's-
coming over again.
Right? It's Candyland. Like, it's not a Ouija board. So we decided to play with it in her bedroom, which was not a wise decision. So we're kind of like, let's see what happens. And we're messing around with it, and it's kind of moving, but not really like spelling anything. And then we get to this point where it's just like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And we're like, okay. So we stopped playing with it. Nothing crazy.
This was like you guys with your hands on the planchette,
Yes.
not like the planchette moving
Right.
on its own, right?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
okay.
Yes. And so we're like, whatever. So we decided to go outside, and like I said, she lives out in the middle of nowhere. So she has a house that backs up to a forest and then a cornfield on one side.
Good Lord.
And she had a trampoline out there. So we're like, yeah, let's jump on the trampoline because we're kids. And then at one point, we're just like, all right, let's lay down and look up at the sky. Because it was, spring, it was cold, but there was lots of stars. And so we're just laying there talking about stupid shit. I'm sure like, oh, I got Ricky on MASH or whatever. And,
God.
Dumb
Just a random mash drop.
That's because I'm doing stuff in my artwork right now.
Wait, is
Relating
match
to
the thing with the...
No, it's where you write the word mash.
Am I gonna
and then
live
it's like
in a
marriage.
mansion, an apartment, a shack, a house?
And then you like pick a number and you gotta count. It tells you
Jonathan
who you're
Taylor Thomas is
marry.
gonna be my husband.
Was this like a chick thing?
It was a big chick thing.
You guys are all giving us looks like, what the fuck are you talking
You guys
about
were,
right now?
you know, mid.
Okay, thank you.
She,
All right.
everybody knows. Everyone.
So JTT was a thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
JT, Jonathan Taylor
Oh, yeah.
Thomas is
I'm
my
trying
husband.
to explain JTT to my daughter. She's like, I don't get it. I'm like, home for Christmas. No.
Oh, man.
Improvement.
I want to go back to the JTT days. Life is so simple.
We had Tiger Beats. We were just like, yeah, let's full out teen right now.
Okay.
So, and then we're just like sitting there laughing, being ridiculous, and we kind of hear like some rustling, which is totally not out of the ordinary. It's a fucking forest. Like,
Right.
there's gonna be rustling. So Sam like rolls over on her stomach and she's like looking out into the cornfield, and I'm like, whatever, I don't give a shit. And all of a sudden, she's like ear-piercing scream, horror movie, like right next to my head, and I'm like, the and I'm like, what is going on? She's like,
happening?
I just saw someone walking in the woods, and I'm like, okay, cool, it's probably your dumb brother. And she's like, no. It was all black, like a black figure. And I'm like, okay. And so we're like looking, and I don't see anything. I'm like, okay, whatever, you just tripped yourself out. It's not a big deal. She's like, well, I think we need to go in the house right now. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So we get up and we start walking, and the trampoline's like far out there.
Yeah.
And the rustling is like getting louder as we're walking back to the house. And I'm like, okay, now I hear something. And she's like, it's following us. And I'm like, what is following us? She's like, we need to get into the house. So we like full on sprint into the house. She shuts the door, locks it, and we're like, okay, go to her room. So we run to her room, and her mom's like, what is going on? Oh, no, we're really cold, okay? And like we ran in there, we like shut the door. She shoves the fucking sleeping bag underneath the door, and she's like in the corner like, oh my God, I will never play with the Ouija board again. And I'm like, calm down, explain to me like what you saw, because I just heard stuff. I didn't actually see anything.
Right.
And she starts explaining something, and she's like, it was a black figure, there was no face, there was no discernible like anything, and I could just like hear it. And it was like this black figure like pulsating. And I'm like, oh. And it kind of got me a little bit because I have sleep paralysis, and I've had sleep paralysis since I was a child.
Uh-oh.
I used to sleepwalk and wake up in all kinds of places, not in my house, in my house. I would wake up with things in my bed that were not mine. So the way she was describing it sounded like the guy that I would see in my dreams all the time. And it freaked me the fuck out because I was like, that sounds just like what the nightmare I have all the time is. And so now that I'm older,
That's wild.
Yes, it like now I get it, I understand, but at the time I was like, how is she seeing like something that I see? Like I didn't get it, and I didn't say anything to her like, I see that guy too. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's real weird. And privately, I'm
Just
like,
encourage it.
You're just like, and I know him.
oh yeah, I know that guy.
Close personal friend of mine.
Yeah,
He's cool.
yeah, he's in my dreams. He's my dream boy. But she never, ever wanted me to bring that Ouija board into her house again. I still messed with it. I still played with it.
Yeah.
I bought a pendulum as I got older when I was a teenager. Like, I still fucked with that stuff. But yeah, I never told anybody about, the guy that I see when I'm sleeping. And sleep paralysis. I mean, I don't even think I've told you about my sleep paralysis.
No, I don't think so. You might have mentioned
maybe.
it, but
because
not in depth.
Yeah. So
We can talk about that.
yeah, I can save my sleep paralysis story.
Yeah.
So you could do your story because it's
It's really not going to be that impressive.
It's
So,
fine.
may I ask a question?
Yeah,
All
go
right.
ahead.
So, with who did the Ouija board? Both of you, or
Yeah,
just
both
you?
of us. Mhm.
Both. Okay, cool. Interesting. I was just curious. Like if you were doing it, if you brought something up.
I mean, we asked a lot of questions like, is there anyone here? but like the standard, is there anyone here with us?
Yeah.
Can you say your name? Can you spell this? Do you want to talk to us? That sort of thing. And that's kind of when it was just like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
Gotcha.
So we're like, I don't know if this is really working or if like we're actually tapping into a person or not. So we're kind of like, whatever.
Sounds like it worked.
Yeah, I mean, she, like, Sam full on believed that it was a demon. She thought it was a demon.
Okay.
I don't know if that is necessarily true, but it definitely sounded like my sleep paralysis dude, so maybe.
Yeah. Well, when we get into the sleep paralysis,
We
dude.
can talk all about that.
Yeah, we'll figure it. We'll take that one apart.
Is it my turn?
So,
Your
Vicky,
turn?
I'm like, Vicky, would you like the floor?
Yeah. So this is probably the first closest and also farthest away from like any sort of like haunting or spiritual thing I've ever experienced. I say that because I feel like at the time it felt very real.
Yeah.
But later I'm like, there's probably a rational explanation for it. So, we used to, like, back in the day when we were in college, and I'm talking, like, we had all come home, me and my friend group, come home and, like, gone back to community college. So we were all living at our parents' houses, hanging around when we weren't in class during the day, because, like, that's what we did. And we were also broke, because none of us were working, so
Right.
we would do things like, I don't know, we'd, like, go hang out in Walmart, just, like, walk around Walmart for, like, 45 minutes.
That's a
we
thing.
had nothing better to do. Out here, it is. And I don't know, I really wonder if that's a thing in, like, other places.
See,
'Cause
I'm
cities you
only
have,
a little
like-
bit older than you, and we did a lot of cornfield hangs and truck stop coffee hangs.
Yes, that was the other thing. Especially back when you could, like, smoke in the diners and stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Oh my
I'm
God.
a little
Sounds
bit
so
older
old.
than both of you, and I also remember
Yeah.
smoking in a Perkins.
Yeah.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
Perkins
Do you want the
existed.
smoking or non-smoking section?
Behind the glass with the ravers,
Yeah.
please.
So we used to, one of the spots that we would go out to at night was Blood's Point.
Ooh, yeah. Comes up almost every episode.
Yeah.
Every person.
I feel like if you're from around here, that's like one of those
There's some
touchstone
hot spots.
We need
Yeah.
to go there. That's all
Yeah.
there is to
You need
it.
to
Which
record
I-
from there.
I also feel like Blood's Point is one of these things that is by and large a myth. Like, I don't know that anything necessarily happened out there. That is like the stories that you hear.
Yeah.
You hear about the bridge over the tracks that you can get like your car to get pushed over.
Oh, sure.
Or there's the bridge that actually has the train tracks on it that you drive underneath. That is like kind of the place that a lot of people go. That's where we used to go to a lot. And then the cemetery.
The witch.
Of course. Yeah.
My mom used to tell me stories about the witch when she was in high school.
Really?
So, apparently-
at the bridge you would drive under?
There's some farm out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said Beulah the witch lived out
Okay.
there.
It has a name.
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah, that was my anime.
Yeah.
Vicky.
That might make this even much more interesting because
Uh-oh.
on one of the nights we would go out there, we would literally we would drive up to the one side of the bridge. We just pull off to the side of the road and just sit there with the car off. Or sometimes on. It kind of depended because the other thing was cops used to drive around there.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were just like loitering looking for ghosts, they very quickly shoo you away.
Yeah, the cops don't like that.
Yeah. And so we would try to go out there. We'd like watch for cars, whatever. We'd sit on the one side of the bridge and then we would go to the end of the road and turn around and come back and sit on the other side of the bridge and just like watch and listen. We'd sit super quietly. There was a night that we had gone out there and we drove under the bridge and just immediately pulled off to the side. So it was behind us. And I was with Wani and somebody else who I cannot recall.
You've mentally blocked it.
Probably. I want to say it was like Mark or I don't even know. Somebody that I don't think I like speak to anymore. Who knows?
That you're going to say that I don't like and just stop there.
Oh no.
I am done with Mark
Wow.
So
on film.
we were getting ready to leave, and as I put my car in to drive, I looked in my rear view mirror, and then I turned behind me to like back out. I was like whipping a shitty or something. I don't even remember. And just saw this figure in white. Wani and I had turned around at the same time, saw this figure in white. It was a woman, and she was wearing some sort of white dress, kind of draped in white. We freaked the fuck out. We were like, let's get the hell out of here, and drove off down the one side of the road. And the adrenaline was like, holy shit. Because out of all of the times that we've gone there and not really seen anything, that was like the first time that we had seen something that we felt was actually pretty major. I mean, it wasn't like a minor thing. It was like an apparition.
Yeah.
Basically. So, that is like this is why I say it's the first, probably the only, and probably not a real one. Because looking back on it, thinking back on it, we used to go out there. We'd go out there in the summer, but I want to say it was in the fall or the winter, not like full snow on the ground.
Sure.
So it was cold. And as we put the car in drive and looked in the rearview mirror, or looked in the back window, with the lights illuminating the exhaust in the back window, I think it's very easy for me to get worked up about something that we were trying to see and then just appeared in our smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I think that is the explanation for it. As cool as it would be to, like, have seen an apparition in our back window, I feel like the more realistic explanation is it was, like, the exhaust from the back of my car drifting up, being illuminated by the lights in the back.
And also, how high were you?
No comments. The thing is,
As soon as he said there was smoke, and I'm like, okay, I know where this is.
the thing is we were high a lot of the time that we were out there.
Yes. That's why you were out there.
Sorry, Mom, because she'll be listening to this.
It's
so that's
legal
fun,
now.
But it wasn't then. But yeah, and that's the other thing too. We've definitely been imbibing when we were out there. Like, I think it's pretty reasonable to say that's what it was.
People see that though.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I heard a story from somebody who was supposed to be on the show and didn't. You know who you are. Anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No, it's a long
Call
story.
him out.
I'll tell you off the camera. Off the.
Well, what did your mom say about the witch?
Oh, she just said that
like,
what you would do is you would drive out there, and I don't ever think she mentioned parking. She said there was an old farm out there and a cemetery and all that stuff, but there was like supposedly like a real life person who lived there, and like this would have been in like, I don't know, 70s, yeah, 60s, 70s
Yeah.
probably. And she said there was someone named Beulah the witch, like a woman who lived there who everyone was convinced was a witch.
Yeah.
And she would, if you went into the wrong place, she would chase you off the property. But people have seen, like I said, another story I was told was, you know, this person had gone to the cemetery and saw like a woman in white, same woman in white, like an older woman in white, like a gown, like a nightgown type thing. Is that what you saw?
Yes.
In the smoke?
In the smoke. In the exhaust
all the
fumes.
smoke, man.
You're just like I can't see, man.
I will say I've heard it because some of the folks that I'm friends with who have had these like legitimate experiences, the one thing that they've talked about with Blood's Point and specifically the cemetery is if you go into the cemetery in like the far back corner, there's like a mausoleum or like a something like that you would go and sit in. Like, that was the thing to do.
Good
and,
Lord.
like...
I would never do that.
There's lots of places out by us where it's like, you have to sit on this one bench in front of this one grave.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, as skeptical as I am about a lot of this, like, also, why would you want to invite that into your life? Like, that's my thing.
I mentioned this before. You're a haunter.
Yes.
So I feel that is, like, a big part of your identity, and that's why I find it so interesting that you're so skeptical, because that is... like spooky, ookie, paranormal, dress up,
What is
cosplay.
a haunter?
So I acted for a haunted house for 9 years.
Nice.
So I would do the whole makeup and just scare the shit out of people. I mean, it's like playing on people's fears.
Sure.
Super fun. Very satisfying. I highly recommend it to anybody. It is...
Scaring the shit out of people.
Yes. It's great. It used to... Because we would be open on Fridays and Saturdays. You'd have all of this aggression from, like, the week week prior, and you just go in, scare the shit out of some people, have some teenagers screaming and running around, and it was like the best. Really. Really. Especially, I think for some of it, I was working retail. Like, it was like taking out all of the anger from your customers. If you could chase your customers around your retail store in makeup, it was like that, except you could do it legally.
Legally.
So I do think that is part of it, though, because that's like, I don't know, but that's not real. That's the
Because you've
thing.
seen how the sausage is made, and so
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we're very skeptical.
Yeah. And maybe that's part of it, too. Because there's a lot of stories about the Railway Museum.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cars being haunted.
Yeah.
I never felt that out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because where we live is very rural.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's lots of places where you can go and get spooked.
Yes.
Sure.
And, you know, like, have you ever been to Cuba Road?
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
so Cuba Road is out towards Cary. And it is a Y road, and then there's a cemetery off to the side. And the whole thing is you're supposed to stand in the cemetery and stare across the street into the forest. Because that's where a house was, and I think it was a house and a carriage house.
Yeah.
And they burned to the ground, and it was like an equestrian family. And so they
Okay.
had tons of horses and lots of carriages. And this was like 1850s when they had like the carriage with the
Prime
the
haunting
lamp
time.
light, the lamp light on it. Mm-hmm. And so the whole idea is you're supposed to stand in the cemetery, stare across, and you will see dancing, flickering lights from the carriages, and you should hear horses and hooves and things like that. And we would go in high school and do that shit, and we would go and stand.
And did you ever see anything?
We did see lights, but
Yeah.
there's also houses over there.
Right.
But there is, I mean, the houses don't move.
Yeah.
Right.
Houses
Yeah.
don't
The
move.
people inside of them do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
What if somebody's walking around with the phones that you guys think are so great? These smartphones
this
with
was,
the lights.
we didn't have
walking
phones
around in their
like
windows
that in high school.
I'm just saying.
I just wanted you to
we
remember
had
how
flip phones
old we
and
are.
they produce light.
I had a Nextel.
What if their house was dark and it was a flashlight and they were trying to find
I'm just saying.
the breaker?
At the exact
The-
moment you were
Yes.
standing there, like they're out there.
Yeah. I've been out there a few times, and there was one time where we saw dancing lights.
Yeah. Is there roads that pass by there? Like, are there
isn't.
cars that
It's a
drive
dead-
past there?
It's a dead end into a forest. Yeah,
I don't buy
there
it.
is a house. Like there's houses off to one side. That's
Yeah.
like it's not a suburban area, but there's like it's like a little cul-de-sac.
Okay.
But where you're looking, there is no houses. It's like to the right. And then it dead ends into like a fucking cornfield.
Nice. Nice use of dead and
Yeah.
emphasis on dead.
It's your dead end. No. I told you I use a lot of voices.
I like it.
I love it.
It's good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, whose turn is it?
I don't know if that
I think
counts
it's
as
your
a story,
turn.
but yeah.
Stories
So
are
I
awesome.
have sleep paralysis.
Oh boy.
We'll go back to that.
We're going right for it.
And if you're not familiar, it's your whole body is like frozen.
Yeah.
But your mind's still going, and you're
Right.
still dreaming. It's in and out of consciousness. There's a lot of REM sleep things happening. But I always slept walk when I was little,
Mm-hmm.
and I would wind up like in the hallway. Was found outside in our backyard.
Oh,
I was
sure.
found in the garage, inside of the van, like
That's
all
a
over
lot.
the place.
I get it. I used to sleepwalk too.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, to the point where the reason my mom suggested putting my bed down in the basement was because there was a big, heavy door that had
Yeah.
a lock.
So they could lock you
Essentially,
in the basement.
Lock me and my sister in the basement like the stepchildren. And
Uh-oh. That's another episode.
yeah,
Oh my god.
Locked in the basement as kids.
so there were
Explains
times.
so much.
I know.
I'm sorry.
There's so many deep, dark things about it.
sorry.
You just don't know, Vicky.
They come out on this show. This show is like, we joke around and call it spiritual therapy because
Yeah,
everybody's just like,
yes.
they're like, I didn't even remember that. I can't believe that. Or they're like, anyway.
Yeah, so I would and I would wake up with stuff in my bed too. There's a very distinct. This isn't spooky. It's just ridiculous. I woke up and I sat up, and there on my dresser was ketchup, mustard, and relish. Just like all the condiments to a hot dog, just chilling.
Was there a hot dog?
There was no hot dog. I maybe was dreaming of a hot dog. But, like, stupid stuff like that would happen. And it didn't start getting, like, spooky ooky until I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And to where I would start seeing, like, a person, faceless, very black. I always described it as very film noir-y because they had a hat on, and it was a fedora shape.
Oh, yes.
Uh-oh.
So...
Yes. I love it.
Michael knows that guy.
Yeah. So there's lots of more involved in the seeing the man in the hat, but it's like that's my paralysis demon. But it got really, really bad about 7 years ago when I moved into my house.
Oh,
my house is very old.
Yes.
It was built in 1901. It's beautiful, somewhat post-Victorian. It's got pocket doors. It's got
wood
the unfinished
floors,
big,
like,
it's beautiful. It's got a cellar. I love it.
Sounds
Everything
awesome.
about it is spooky and wonderful and delightful.
Limestone basement.
No, it's brick.
Murder basement?
Murder basement. It is partitioned off with old wood railroad slats, and there's a door cut out with a leather strap. It is the creepiest, wonderful cellar.
Like the Evil Dead basement?
Yeah.
Did we just talk about the asbestos in your basement,
There's
too?
one teeny tiny bit of asbestos. It's just right around the heater. Just
Old-timey
like a
houses.
little O-ring of asbestos.
That's great.
Oh, boy.
Totally fine. But, when we moved in, I call him my partner because we're too old to be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh my god.
He was always like, this house is haunted. And I'm like, no, please. I would have felt something if it was haunted. Because I'm the one who sees shit. So we have our bedroom in the very, very top of the house. It's a 2-story with really peaked ceilings. And it's got echoey, wonderful plaster walls. So one night we're sleeping and I grab him by the wrist and I sit up. And I go, there's someone in the house. Okay,
while you were asleep?
I was asleep, but he didn't know that because he didn't really understand or know. Like, I told him I slept walk, but he didn't really understand what sleep paralysis was. So he gets up and he collects a lot of weird stuff. We have a World War II trench knife in our bedroom.
Perfect for a sleepwalker.
He put it in there because he's like,
that the stuff that you collect is bringing in the bad energy.
oh, I
That's
staged
for-
that shit. I put the sweetgrass over it. It's good.
That's for making the hot dogs.
Yeah, I just put the mustard on with the German trench knife. No. He put that in our bedroom because when he's gone on business, he's like, this is your protection. And I'm like,
Wonderful.
totally.
Because I know how to use that.
Yeah, it's just like, let me
ready.
unsheath this giant knife. Stay back. So he gets up, he grabs it, and he's like whipping all the doors open. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting in bed.
Because he
And
doesn't know you're sleeping.
He doesn't know that I'm sleeping, but in the doorway is a figure of a man. And the door was open. Normally we don't leave our door open.
Sure.
I shut every door. There's a reason for that. Closet doors, and every single room to our house has a door. It's that old school kind of thing. You quarter off every single room for a reason. So I'm seeing the man in the doorway standing there, and I watch Bo walk right through him. Just right through him and into the landing. And he's going into all the rooms, opening all the doors. He goes downstairs, and it's like a big creaky staircase. And the man is just still standing there. And then I hear him get to the bottom of the stairs and open the door to go into the living room. And then I watch the man turn around and walk out. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't know he's coming after him. He doesn't know. And I'm saying like Bo in my head, but I'm not saying anything.
Wow.
And so it feels like a fucking eternity, and I'm like sitting up, frozen, and I just feel something next to me in bed, and it's Bo getting in bed and the dog moving up. Because we have like a little wiener dog that sleeps in between us, and the dog moving up
Adorable.
under the pillow, and I just feel like this warmth, and then it's like I just fucking snap out of it, and I'm just like, and I look at him, and I'm like, he's like, there's no one in the house, and he like really pissed off, like turns over, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, had no recollection that I said that to him.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know that I had said that to him.
Oh.
And he's like, you told me there was someone in the house. And I'm like, what? He's like, you grabbed my wrist and yanked my arm and said someone is in the house. And he believed me because like 2 weeks prior to that, someone had tried to like break into his car, and I heard the car door open while we were in bed, and I sat up and I went, Bo, I hear something outside. I do that a lot.
Jeez.
I'm like, because I have fucking like supersonic
It's
hearing.
murder sense.
bat
I'm telling
ears?
you, it's like the murder sense.
Nice.
And so he
Something
believed me
amiss.
because
That's amazing.
of that. And there, sure enough, when we looked out the window, there was some fucking twerp from down the street, like trying to get into his shitty Honda Civic full of
Sounds about
nothing.
right, Yeah.
Like, cool choice,
He
dude.
was looking for the trench knife.
Yeah.
I know
He's
it's in
looking
here.
for those sick Misfits CDs that are on the floor, and that's all he's got.
Oh,
But yeah, and,
sounds like an
and
awesome
so
guy.
now this is like a running joke where we'll go to bed and it'll be like, there's someone in the house. But I still have.
Okay, hold on. Can
We're-
we pause for a
we're
second?
sick
Because
and
it's a really
twisted.
fucked up show.
Yeah, that is. Did you tell him the story? Does he understand? You're like,
Yes.
you're like, would you walk through it?
Yes. So I explained to him what was happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so you were like having a dream. I'm like,
Well,
but I wasn't. Like, I was still very cognitive of what was happening, and I was seeing things, and everything felt real. I knew that I couldn't move. And I've had dreams before, where you're supposed to have a dream and you jump off a building or you fall off a building and
Yeah.
you never hit the ground.
Right.
I always fucking hit the ground. I always, I feel it.
can you lucid dream?
Yes, yeah. So that's kind of what the sleepwalking is lucid dreaming. And that's kind of why I'm interested in that sort of thought
Sure.
process, is because I have sleep paralysis and I've seen and felt things like,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of, the human ego to think that we understand everything.
Right.
I like to feel that like there's so much out there that we will never understand, that our stupid fucking peon brains can't even comprehend. So
Rationality. I'm just saying.
I mean, I would love to think that rationality can solve everything,
Yeah.
but like, have you seen a black hole? No. Like, there are things that we will never see and we will never understand because we just can't fucking comprehend it.
Yeah.
Like, we can't comprehend it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, I have a sleep paralysis demon.
That's fun.
Well, do you know what that is? Have you ever heard of you've heard of the Hat Man, right?
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard lots of Hat Man stories.
Have you Googled it and
I have.
seen the
Yeah, and I mean, I don't
dude in the
always.
doorway?
I don't always see it with a hat on.
Is
Right.
that a wait, hold on a second, because I don't actually know what this is. So is that like a thing that people see?
Oh
a
yeah,
lot?
it's a thing that
During
people
sleep
see
paralysis, or-
they've seen them for years.
Really?
Yeah,
But
and
it's
it's not
always
just sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
He,
that's the most
he saw it.
predominant.
Our first episode of our show is about it
Okay.
because he saw it. Yeah, and his brother and I researched it
Okay.
and like found that it's just like it literally is just like never ending, and it's been around for
Really?
years and years and years, like hundreds of years, probably like forever.
Yeah, since
People have
there
been-
were hats.
Since there were hats. since the 30s with the noir hat.
So you can make it sound interesting.
I can say
It's
that was me sounding
noir.
interesting, not being able to, not struggling to say it. Yeah, no, it's like a thing. I don't know. We don't know. We've like talked about it. I've read about it. I've watched videos about it. There's a cool documentary on Amazon. You've seen that one?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Do you think it's that?
I don't really know. I don't know if you know like the theory of like group manifestation. So when everyone starts thinking the same thing, it manifests into reality, which is kind of what the Slender Man thing was. So no one started
That's a good
seeing
example.
it until there were a bunch of people telling stories about it through, like creepypastas. So that whole like kind of conjoined thought where people are thinking the same thing and telling the story over and over
Sure.
again can make something manifest.
But that's what's weird about the Hat Man. People don't tell each other. They keep it to themselves. That's like the one common thread throughout
Yeah.
that narrative is people don't talk about it.
They tell each other enough that you were able to research it
Now
on the
they do,
internet.
but every time you hear you hear a story from it that's like, I saw this when I was 9. I
Yeah.
didn't talk about it till I was like 30
Yeah.
because they kept it
Yeah.
to themselves. But it's become like, cause some lady in Milwaukee came up with the name Heidi Hollis. We've talked about her on our show before, but yeah, it's like a phenomenon. It's like a phenomenon that people see. Shadow people with sleep paralysis. Actually, my Aaron, our producer's sister, was on last week, and she talked about her sleep paralysis and seeing things. And I had a guy from high school is like, dude, is it always associated with haunting? Is it a haunting? What's happening to me? What's happening to my friend? But yeah, people see the same things.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if that is in the same realm as ghosts.
Yeah.
Because there's my favorite theory about ghosts is the simulation theory.
Oh boy.
And,
what's that?
So, if you prescribe to the thought that we live in a simulation,
okay,
like the Matrix,
like the Matrix, maybe not as complicated. There are no pill taking. You don't get a choice. But the whole premise is that we're recordings, kind of like a VHS tape, where we're just getting re-recorded over top of constantly.
Like people individually are. Okay.
So when you see a ghost in your house from the 1880s, it seems to be all the time, it's basically we're recording over top of that simulation that's happening. And there is a theory of thought that when we see aliens, that we are what's being recorded over by them, because they are the beings of the future that we have not seen. And so we're the recording that they're recording over top of.
Interesting.
It's very...
You just blew my mind.
Yeah, so there's like 9 layers of simulation theory. It's
Let me
very
just interject here for a second.
Vicky's like, let me bring it back.
It's a very convenient way to explain a lot of unexplainable phenomena, right? I think it's a very interesting theory, but like, I don't know. That's one of those great philosophical questions that's like,
why?
Yes. Like, why are we here? What are we just replacing these images from the past? And is somebody replacing us already in the future? Like, it's a little too much for my brain to handle without exploding.
Exactly.
I'll be honest. But that's what makes it a good theory, too.
I've never heard. That's a new one.
Yeah.
That's a new one. Every time we always ask people what they think. And, like, I get...
I love
doozies.
thinking that I'm a VHS tape.
Yeah, well, because if you were from the time when you were like, you're like, I'm gonna record this show on a VHS, and it would mess up and be like, and then
you
would
see flickers of things that you had recorded over top of coming through, and that's kind of the whole premise of that. And that's why that when people see ghosts that are doing like the same things, there's a lot of like apparitions that will walk to they do the same path, and they just repeat that path over and over again.
Okay.
That kind of also plays into that sort
like
of
Hill
simulation
House.
theory.
I just saw that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Man, that's an interesting theory. Like it's like on repeat.
Yeah.
It's on repeat.
It's like the most technological of the explanations too, I feel like.
They're in a quantum loop.
Yeah. Because it's also like one of these things that you would have to acknowledge that there's like a force greater than us that is actually in control of our lives, right?
Sure.
Nobody wants to, I think, believe in predetermined fate necessarily, because it makes you feel like you have less control over what you're doing in your life. Because even the things that I'm saying right now on this podcast have already been decided that I'm going to be saying.
Script comes out.
Oh yeah.
Surprise!
Even people in the Christian world get mad about that. They're like, predestination. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But also, could it be a choose your own adventure recording? No?
With little blips
You
of the
have
future
three
and past.
determinations.
So wait. So aliens are from... Wait. So if it's...
See, this
Wait
is
a
where the
minute.
aliens
Wait, hold
come
on,
in.
hold
Whoa,
on,
whoa.
hold on.
I just want to
hold on.
preface with this with
Yeah.
I don't like... Hold on.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to talk about aliens because I 1000% believe they exist in some form or other. I never ever watch alien movies. I'm very like, don't need to see it. I know it's there.
Her two biggest fears are aliens and people living in her house without her knowing it.
People watching me, which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
it's called psychic staring. We'll get into that.
Whoa.
So, so the theory is that aliens are actually some like form that we become eventually, and that's we're seeing aliens because they're alien to us,
Right.
but really it's something that we manifest into, and it goes along with that sort of theory.
So is the idea that we have already traveled off planet and then are coming back to like our past civilization? Like that's the kind of
and
idea.
I mean, I don't know the gist of the going out into space and colonizing other planetary
That's a
aspects,
whole
but
thing.
that kind of circles
Jeez.
into it as well.
That's like 10 more podcasts.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it gets really confusing, especially when you're talking about what do they call it? Like when you're frozen in sleep and they're transporting you, because it takes so long to get to other planets.
Stasis.
Yes. That by the time you get there, people from human civilization, the time will have passed so quickly that they will have been there already. By the time you get there, you'll still be the same age, but it's going to be like generations and generations already have traveled to these other planets because of the time it takes to get from Earth to like another galaxy.
What is time?
What
He
is
just
time?
like added like another like layer. It's like, what is time? See you later, guys.
She's used to this, so
I like it. No, this is
time is relative, man.
It's true. I mean, it's true. Time is a construct.
It is.
Oh,
Everything's
boy.
a contract. We're living in a simulation.
don't tell my job then.
I mean, the thing is, even with aliens, that's something that
Sorry.
I feel like rationally it makes sense that there's going to be life on other planets.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
they're-
because we're so, like, the people who don't believe it, they're so egotistical.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
we are the best beings. There could not be another. It's like,
I
no.
also think that we're so devolved as a civilization compared to like other alien civilizations that they
Yeah.
probably wouldn't really have any interest in us, honestly. Like,
I was just listening to a podcast about aliens, and they were saying like that same thing. Like maybe they know we're here, and they're like, well, I don't care.
I'm good.
like we are.
Yeah, I don't
we are
care.
It's like that neighborhood you don't drive through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like humans keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's another planet way better than this.
Yeah, we're like
Oh,
the
man.
trailer park of the galaxy,
Oh,
I think.
god damn, it's so true.
Oh man,
It's so true.
Park of the Galaxy.
It's a little depressing when you
It is
think
a
about
little
it like
depressing.
that, right?
Yeah. Like,
It's true though.
I am the center of the universe. Dang it. So you're alien. Have you ever experienced anything alien?
I haven't seen any aliens, but
No?
I'm also of that thought where I'm like, if I keep saying it, I'm gonna see it.
You know what? Okay, I thought
I'm
that
gonna
too.
make those aliens
and I've
appear.
tried it and it doesn't work.
I feel like most of the alien sightings that you see or hear about or whatever
Yeah.
are like lights in the sky. That's the most typical
Sure.
thing. Which again, I think there's some things out there that are unexplainable, but there's also a lot of good explanations for random lights in the skies.
Yeah.
Like, but the other thing that you hear about is these stories of people being abducted or whatever. Experiences that they have. Like there was a really good one on Unsolved Mysteries about that town where like 5 people
Yeah, just
got
saw- yeah,
abducted.
yep.
Spoilers if you haven't watched it, you should. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
That's a
real
good one.
Yeah.
There's a couple, even in the OG ones. There's a
Yeah.
couple.
I didn't realize there was as much like alien abduction stuff in the old Unsolved
Yeah,
Mysteries.
and all the spontaneous
Yeah.
combustion. Ugh.
That was like a thing for a long time.
Yes. Spontaneous combustion was very in for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the worst.
I think we mentioned something in one of our episodes too, where I talked about
Yes.
spontaneous
Yeah,
combustion
yeah.
theory. Yeah.
I know. As the light is just like,
Right?
who's gonna go? Anyway, I don't know. Sorry. It's terrible.
I'm feeling warm.
I'm like, I've been hot all day. Like,
Yeah.
where's my phone? Poof. I'm just like, end of podcast.
Sorry for ruining your house.
No, yeah. No. We've been trying really hard to keep,
It's the light.
all the rituals,
Yeah.
the spells. I'm like,
No spontaneous
Janelle,
combustion.
do not draw a pentagram in here.
I'm not.
You will
I
not.
promise. I've left my pentagram days behind.
You move the rug, it's like there. She's like,
Now I'm all like going around the house with like sweetgrass, like
God,
get it
yeah.
out of here.
oh my gosh. The saging. You guys. Yeah. Wait, she's gone. But anyway.
I use sweetgrass though, because that's a little bit more ethical.
Oh, it's. Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah, my daughter, when we had the full moon, she came out with like this like handful of rocks, and I was like, "What are you
Yes.
doing?" And she's
Yes.
like, "I gotta charge
Lunar cleansing. Get it, girl.
Charge my crystals on your
Yes.
on your grill." And I was like, "On my grill?"
On your grill.
I was like, she just like laid like a napkin out with like all her rocks, and I was like, I was like, why are you doing this here? I was like,
That's
We're just
wonderful.
trying.
That's
My
adorable.
2-year-old's just going moon, moon, and the 17-year-old's like,
So much. much.
charging her crystals on my
You didn't
Brinkman.
know it, but you have a coven.
You have a small
secretly.
coven.
I do. I know what's happening over there.
Just know that your house is protected.
I know. Whatever. Yeah. No. Anyway, sorry.
No.
Everybody's,
I love that.
Everybody's got the. Yeah, I know. She's loving it.
You sound so sad about your house being
I know. I'm just like, please
I know.
stop putting the quartz on me while I'm sleeping.
Just all that feminine mystic energy
I know.
swirling around.
If I wake up with like a fucking crystal on my head one more time,
They're just aligning your chakras.
I know. I'm just like, just like, yeah, whatever. All
They're
over.
opening your third eye.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. No, I was just sorry. That was a super side tangent. That was cracking me
I
up.
love
That's
it.
all right.
I love those stories.
No, yeah, you guys get along.
We just went off on an aliens
Yeah.
tangent.
Oh, I know.
That
I love.
wasn't even
I
part
had
of
never
the
heard
story.
that before. Like the whole like VHS tape alien thing. We've always we want to get someone on here that has alien stuff,
Yeah.
but no. Not
Where's
here.
the local MUFON chapter?
There is one here. Do you know that? We need to just go down there and be like,
we need some
Hey.
stories.
Gary, come on down. I know
Yeah,
you're
they
abducted.
would.
Oh,
They
I
can
know.
talk about how they hunt for aliens too, which is very much like this kind of like pencil pushy kind of methodology MUFON has. It's very like almost
Is MUFON a name or is it like
It
an
is.
acronym?
It's their
Mutual
acronym.
UFO Network.
Okay.
Right?
A bunch
Yeah,
of
something
ufologists,
like that,
I'm
yes.
assuming?
Mutual
Okay.
ufologists. They like
Sounds good.
ufologists.
Ufologists.
Yeah.
Ophologists. Midwest.
Ufologists.
Ophology.
Those aliens are just gonna scoot right past you.
They're like, should I get past you? Oh. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, guys.
We don't take anything seriously.
No, it's
so
okay.
We're
You
over here
have to.
like, I have a demon. Like, oh.
It's another day.
Yeah.
Sleep Brosnan. Throw some sweetgrass at it. Done. We're all
Yeah.
done.
Did you have another story, Vicky?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's your
I
other
feel
story?
like
I'm sorry
No, it's
for
okay. I feel like now compared to everything that we were talking, this is like a little baby story.
It's
That's okay.
fine.
Yeah.
It rolls into something.
It's
greater.
your story, Vicky.
It's only kind of my story. It's more of a family thing. So we my grandma Paul passed away a while ago, and she was like, this is my grandma on my mom's side. She was very into quilting and fabrics. Like,
Nice.
sorry, I didn't mean
Full
to
Midwest
just
grandma. You
brush
mean?
your leg. Yes, full Midwest grandma for real. Like, she has made quilts for my sister and myself and my cousin for us when we get married that are still in storage. Like,
That's awesome. When you,
What does it say about?
yeah. Side note: I'm not married.
We have a shirt that says a couple of old spinsters.
It's true.
So.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
she's single, guys. She's single. There's a quilt with your name on it. Get it. Get it. Go get it.
would I
Single
wear
and
that
ready
shirt?
to debunk you. Yeah.
Get that quilt.
No. That's a shirt we need to
Ready to debunk you. That's not sexy.
It's real sexy, actually.
It is to someone. It is to someone.
It's real sexy.
I'm trying to tell a story about my dead grandma, Janelle. Jesus.
R.I.P. Grandpa.
So, after she had passed the first Christmas, after she had passed away, my mom had given my aunt, her sister, a sewing kit for Christmas. It seems like a weird thing to give, but that's what she asked for Christmas.
That's
it's
all right.
fine. So we did Christmas at her house. So we did all of our unwrapping, whatever. Went and had dinner, finished dinner, came back, and after they had come back, we had found one of the pins, like the little pins with the big balls on the end of them,
Yeah.
just laying on the table. And the sewing kit, it hadn't been opened. The plastic was still intact on the package, like it was a pre-shrink wrapped package.
Yeah.
It was just laying on the table. And everybody in my family kind of took this as like a
Grandma's here.
grandma's saying hi, you know, it's the first Christmas without grandma. Very sweet thing. And that's one of these things that I have not been able to explain. You guys will be happy to know. I can't debunk this one. It was just
real
like
sad
one of those,
about that.
No, it's just like one of those weird things. And I think it is more comforting to think that it was like grandma saying hi. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm watching over you. But that's, you know, one of these like human experience things where it's like everybody wants to be able to explain that there's something after, right?
Right.
So was it that? I don't know. It's just one of those weird things.
No, that's
just like,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever you want it to be. Grandma Paul saying hi.
yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And we still think back on it, like, it's just weird that it was pre-packaged. She had unwrapped it, was holding it in her hands. I mean, it's not like anything had fallen out when she was unwrapping this gift.
Yeah.
Just left it on the table and came back to one of the pins being on the table. Like, that's pretty weird.
That is weird. That is unexplainable.
I don't know. They still like to look back on it.
No, that's good though. I mean, you have a good memory from it. You're not like creeped out or scared. Or...
No. And there were lots of tears that day. Oh my
I
God.
bet.
It was like, it's Grandma saying hi. Oh, it's her oh my God. You know, it's very sweet. It was a very sweet moment, but I don't know. Weird. See, tiny story. I just got small little bits, and those are my 2 stories.
That's okay. That's
That's it. I only have 2, and that was them.
That was them. Oh man. Well.
Oh, that's a good one. It's a positive one. It's a good contrast to all my demons.
She's like,
It's true.
Got a lot of demons, Nikki.
It's true. We got to have some good Christian stories on this podcast.
you're like,
Balance out the heathen on this side.
you're like, all the pins I find are stuck in things.
Yeah, put them in dolls.
I put them in my pentagrams and dolls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but really, I think like a lot of the haunting stuff or like the spiritual stuff. I mean, we can talk about mediums and
because
like fortune tellers and stuff, which is a whole shitload
Should we
of
talk about the
grifters.
ghost tour that we went on around here?
Oh my God,
Dude, ghost tours are nice.
ghost tours are fun.
Yes.
This one.
Around here?
I feel
was like
grifted. I felt grifted.
Okay, so this is what happened. So I was working at the museum, and I was like, I need to bring some spooky ookie into this art space. So I decided to do kind of like a co-op thing with Haunted Rockford. And Kathy Krezal has done some stuff with us.
Yeah, she's great.
We've done Haunted Rockford live shows before. Mm-hmm. And so she was coming to do like a downtown walking tour. Mm-hmm. And we walked across the park over there, and there's like
there's a bunch of places like right by the art
Beatty Park,
museum,
and then across the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we went in a big circle, and then kind of came back to Burpee. And usually Kathy brings with her a medium. The one medium that she always works with is fantastic. The person that she brought with her this time, I felt was like she was pinch hitting for this event, and she was like, I gotta get into this psychic space here.
Yeah, this
and
is
it didn't just
Yeah.
jive at all. I was kind of felt like she was really pushing it, trying to feel something.
It felt that way.
Yeah.
It felt like that.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing with psychics and mediums, there's probably a 5% of people who actually can tap into something that is not
That's
of this
very
realm.
generous. I honestly, I think it would be even lower because I think it's very easy to do hot or cold reading on people.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in that case, it was a situation where we'd get to the spot, we'd get a description of what happened here, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have a medium saying, well, I'm picking up on this. It's
But also just the body language that she was giving off. She had her hands in her pockets and was very casual. And I just didn't feel like she was even attempting to make it even try to be realistic.
believable.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was nothing. There was no charisma. There was nothing. It's there's
No.
I feel like a person.
Yeah.
No
There's
scarves
a
in the
person
air,
here
nothing.
with
No.
a spirit or something
Yeah.
that. She was very
I don't know. Yeah.
it was interesting. But
Yeah.
I've went to other tours, and the medium that she normally brings with her is amazing. She really tells a story and what she's feeling, and you can feel. I'm a bit of an empath, so you can feel what she's feeling, and it's I don't know. It's not it's believable, but I just feel like she was taking it was serious. This was what she believed in.
Do you want to explain empath?
So I can kind of feel and be on a similar wavelength with people. I can feel the same sort of emotions that they have. I work with children, so it's interesting.
Oh boy.
But I have kind of been that way. I kind of connect with people a lot. I get told a lot by friends, that I'm the only person that they can like talk to and have like
Nice.
a real conversation with.
That's good.
And I didn't understand what it was until I was much older. It's because I can feel what they're feeling. So when people tell me stories and they're connecting with me on this emotional level, it is like this direct transfer of emotion. Like I can feel what they're feeling, which is also, according to my sister, why animals are so like, you know, follow me around.
Yeah, I can see that.
I have always like saved and rescued animals, and like
That's good.
dogs and cats are drawn to me. Like they will come to me, and I'm just like, okay, well, like it's just this weird thing that happens to me. And my familiars, as I like to call them.
Oh my god!
My familiars.
God damn it, Janelle!
I know.
Playing a lot of D&D over there.
Yeah.
That's all right. No, that's cool. I hear people say that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an empath, or you're an empath. You know, like I just wonder like how that related.
It's like a super feeler.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which
Yeah.
is so funny because I feel like that is also why I stay away from people.
Too much feeling.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Like I get emotionally drained. Like I isolate myself a lot. Like I go off and do things on my own.
Are you picking anything up from anyone in here? Like,
It's very jovial in here.
all right.
It's loose and wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
But yeah, it's usually I don't know why, but it's mostly women who are very like drawn to talk to me and like want to tell me their whole fucking life story, and it gets to the point where it's very like emotional. It takes an emotional toll where I have to kind of like go and, you know, meditate, center myself, not think about other people's feelings.
So you
for a minute.
experience what they experience, and it drains.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like a psychic vampire, but
No, that's okay.
yeah.
I was just curious because, like, No, I had. You guys want to hear a funny story about empath?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really quick. So I had. I get people like sometimes like asking, you know, like questions about my show, or like they'll like send me texts. I had this guy send me a text about being an empath, and it was like, I think I showed you this guy. I think I showed these guys last week. He was like telling me about being an empath, and then it just turned out to be a dead end because he had a YouTube link, and I was like, oh, whoa, I mean, who is this guy? The link that is literally just him farting. like
All right.
him recording his own farts, and I'll show you the text thread, and
He
it is.
feels what other people feel
He's
in
probably-
their bowels.
He was, and it was titled "My Most Epic Fart Reel." That's the experience I've had with an empath.
So
Okay,
why?
that is not an empath.
Why would you go out of your way to send somebody a video of your own farts? Like, why go to
No.
that
He didn't
extent?
send it to me. It's a link on his page to a YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's like YouTube,
Oh.
his farts, and then like just a ton of wrestling videos.
Oh, that explains a lot.
I don't know. He's
I
probably
feel
gonna
like
come
there's a
murder me now.
connection
I'm gonna be on
between-
your. Yeah, you're gonna be telling my story about how this dude came and killed me. He's like, oh, you like my farts?
We
Zero
will-
degrees of murder
We
separation.
will feature you on the podcast, and we will give it the respect it deserves.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
we
you.
will
When you-
not do any terrible fart jokes.
We might
at
do
all.
one terrible fart joke, but just the one.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I always
just had to tell
prepare
that.
people because
So good.
My life is a fart joke.
I mean the title of our podcast is Bad Taste, so people know what they're getting.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. Whew.
Oh my god.
All right, so you're done. You had all your stories. That's it.
We've established I'm tapped out as far as spooky stories go.
But we could talk about the problem I have with people watching me and living in my attic.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, so here's the thing.
The
about
maniacal
that.
laugh.
Yeah. The thing about that is I feel like that's actually a pretty rational fear.
Yeah.
when it comes to, I mean, there's a lot of irrational fears, and of all of those, that's pretty rational.
Yeah.
Because there have been plenty of cases where people have been living in
Watcher
like
house that we covered.
yes, in like attics or like basements or walls behind washing machines. For
The Candyman.
yes, yeah. I mean, like there's plenty of cases of this happening.
Where people lived on your washing machine?
Yes.
So
Wasn't that the case you covered,
yes,
right?
it was. They were living in the walls of behind someone's bathroom.
Yeah.
So we covered the
yeah.
case, which was the premise of the Candyman film, and it takes place in the projects of Cabrini Green in Chicago.
Really?
Well, the real story is that this was a housing project where all of the houses had a common wall. And there was a hallway behind it. And people were kind of like living in this hallway and breaking into people's houses, going through their medicine cabinet because it was removable. Because this was like built in the 50s or 60s
cheap.
or something.
It was
so
pretty cheap.
they could just take it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's how an elderly woman was murdered. They came through her medicine cabinet and robbed her and killed her. So the premise of Candyman is taking that to the extreme and saying like you're standing in this, housing project and you're
Say
saying
the name.
Candyman and then they're coming from the bathroom
Did he
mirror.
kill her with a hook?
No.
Wait.
Excellent sound effect.
The timing.
What was that?
I don't know, but it was great.
All right. Well, I like. Dun, dun, dun. There was never a hook.
No, I think they just stabbed her with a plain old knife.
Yeah.
But we covered that case. We
did,
talked a lot about how some horror movies are based in real life
Man.
crime.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I like it. I
so
need to
I
hear that
have
one.
an irrational, or maybe not so irrational.
I don't
fear
think it's
of
that
people
irrational.
No.
watching me and living in my attic, even though I can't even get into my attic because it is out of control, way up high.
You can't get in it?
No, I'd have to like get like an 8-foot ladder and like.
It doesn't have one of
maybe-
those like fold out,
Nope.
like pull down, fold out.
It's got a
ladders.
piece of wood that you have to like push, and it's very heavy. And you have to. Like,
You've never
throw it.
once been in it?
I've been in it once.
Oh, okay.
It's
I was
very
gonna say-
cumbersome.
Maybe you do have someone up there if you've never been in there.
That is what I always think is there's someone living in the attic, which also does not help sleep paralysis.
No.
Thinking somebody is
always
literally
think
in your
there's
house at
someone
all
in my
times.
house at all
Yeah.
times. But we covered the Watcher house, which is another
What is
story.
that?
So these people moved into this house.
It's creepy.
These people
it's
moved
very
into this
creepy.
house, and there was someone who kept leaving notes in their mailbox and
Yeah.
on their door saying that they are the watcher of this house and they need to
Yeah.
watch this house, and this is a long line of people watching this house, and it goes back until when the
Yeah.
house was
A
created.
tradition
where
of
was
watching
this?
the
Where was
house.
this?
New Jersey,
Yeah, that's what I was
Massachusetts, somewhere on
thinking.
the
New
East
Jersey,
Coast.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard something.
Yes,
Yeah.
there was a horror movie.
It wasn't that long ago.
Based
like
off
it was
of it.
relatively recent. I would say within the
just
last
sold it.
15 years this happened.
They
yeah.
just sold the house, and there hasn't been another series of notes left for the new owners. But this person was having more and more increasingly kind of scary notes saying things like they were watching their kids, they were standing in
Okay.
the backyard.
Yeah.
So it
I
kind
did
of
hear this.
started to ramp up, and the people were like, they like left the house, and it stayed vacant, and they still owned it for a very long time, and they just recently sold it. They rehabbed it, changed it, and they haven't had a note since. But there was some person like going around leaving notes in it. And so I had to cover that because I was like, I always have this fear that somebody's watching me.
You know, I'm just gonna say this. If you feel like your house is haunted, it's probably just somebody living in your house.
Yeah, it really
Like,
is.
it's probably more likely somebody living in your house.
But
honestly.
I mean, the whole thing with feeling like somebody is watching
Yeah.
you, there is a term for that, and it's called psychic staring.
Oh.
Which, I mean, so I see things out of the corner of my eye. That kind of goes along with the sleep paralysis. A lot of people who
Yeah.
have sleep paralysis will think they see things moving. I always think that I see an animal. It's usually like a rabbit shape. I think I see out of my peripheries all the time.
Yeah.
But psychic staring is this whole thing where there is somebody tapping into you through their subconscious. And that's why you always feel like somebody's staring at you, because there is someone, quote unquote, staring at you through their subconscious. So it's very trippy.
That's a lot. It's
a
another
lot.
one of those like
Yes.
brain exploding.
So, yeah, like
Yeah,
when you
I'm just,
you know,
like,
people
thinking and
who
thinking, I don't even know
who
what to
go
say.
into like a trance and they astral project or whatever the case may be. that kind of loops into what psychic staring is. So if you think someone is staring at you and there's nobody in the room, it could be someone psychic staring at you.
Dude, I think that happens to me a lot.
Yeah. So somebody's watching you.
Great. Great.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna go get the crystals out of Devin's room.
Right? See, that's why they put the
See,
crystal
now you're
on
going to
you.
be glad that your kids are putting crystals all over your body. No?
I need them. Oh man, that's so cool. I never heard of that before.
Yeah,
Psychic staring.
it's a mind trip.
You are a wealth of paranormal information.
She's a wealth of all kinds of information.
I love it.
This woman is like the
I'm a
mystery filing
Sagittarius,
cabinet.
which is the philosopher of the astrological.
Oh my god, please stop. Holy shit.
I just, I
go.
am the consummate learner. I love to
Yeah.
learn about stuff. I educate. That's what I do. So I always, if someone mentions something, I love to read about it. Even if it's not anything that I'm necessarily interested in. I just want to know.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you're like in like 25 years, someone will be like gray hair. They're like, call Janelle. She'll know what to do. And you just like
Right.
walk in all like majestic.
The scientist in all of those movies that they call to solve the end of the world problems.
Yeah, that's you. That's good. I love it. No, I love it. So, what made you decide to do this with us? What was your
feel like-
inspiration?
I feel like we don't talk about strange.
No.
We don't talk about strange things. No,
No.
we do.
We do, but it's more crime based. And I mean, there is like some crossover with hauntings and murder,
Yeah.
obviously.
Sure.
But it is more about the
There it is.
the crime aspect of it, and less about the stuff afterwards, like
Yeah.
the hauntings or whatever.
Sure.
A lot of we focus so much on like victims advocacy
Yeah.
and the way that the law changes
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
That it's nice to kind of step back and not be so heavily like in the shit thinking about all of
Yeah.
these people constantly
Oh my
fucking
God.
being murdered, people
Right.
being
Yeah.
snatched, like
Legal issues.
legal
and,
legalities, how
Yeah.
the whole legal system is against everyone that is
All the
not
time.
a white male.
All the time.
It's just like ugh. Very frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's why I think that I feel like you like the haunting stuff because it kind of takes you into
I do.
a fun
yeah,
place.
I do because it's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely,
It takes you into a fun
because
place.
it's
It takes
yeah.
you out of, whatever's happening. And for me, researching and reading about this stuff, I mean, yeah, we all want to know, what's going on and what's happening. But
Yeah.
I always want to believe that it's the most far-fetched, ridiculous, fucked up idea that's the reason that's behind it.
It's probably why we get along so well, because
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, bring it back down to earth now. Let's think a little more rationally about this.
No, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I do not believe... I believe in anarchy, no rationality.
It's like, girl, chill.
Yeah.
There is
Common
no
sense.
explanation.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. That's so cool. Well,
But you, why did you start doing this? 'Cause
Yeah.
I know you talked a little bit about, how you want to have a platform for people to talk about their stories, but
Why'd you start a podcast?
Why you?
why start
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's always a good question. I just started. I don't know. I've always had experiences myself, and I don't know. They've always been fun stories, and you'll meet people that you want to talk to them about, or you just kind of Sometimes it feels better to get them off your chest, but a lot of times people kind of judge you for them,
Definitely.
and I don't know. I guess the idea of it was we create a safe space where you get to tell your story, and I want to hear you talk. If you notice, I don't talk a lot. I just kind of
and that is why.
It's because you're a hand talker.
because I'm a super hand talker. Yeah, I can show you the video of our first episode. I'm like, that is why. The end. No, but I guess I just want to hear people's stories and get them to just talk about it, because I do think that the paranormal is just way more normal. And I've said that a million times, but way more normal than we want to let on. And I think there is an explanation a lot of times, and I don't know. I just want people to be able to tell their stories. I like to hear the stories. I'm not a white knight of like I just want to help people, but like
Yeah.
you know, like there's like the cool part of hearing people's stories. Like I don't know, I always want to hear people's perspectives, like what they're going through, what they experienced, what they saw, and then like it's kind of cool to like to cross reference it, and then like people have like their own theories. But like originally I just started it because I like paranormal stuff, and just kind of grew into this.
I think too. You can touch on this more, but like you've always. Oh, you can bring it up. We can kind of cut this, but but like your biggest thing, like we were roommates. But he'd always talk. He's like, dude, this person came up to me. I don't even know him. And sort of like going off.
Oh, yeah.
That's like one of the biggest
I forgot
reasons
about
you
that.
started this. 'Cause you're like,
Really?
Maybe
like,
you were an empath.
I might be, honestly. No, because it is a thing. Like we, like we'll be like downtown Rockford, and I'm like I'll see someone like super far away, and I'm like, I guarantee you they'll be like over here in like 2 minutes. And like my wife is like, oh, and she laughs because it happens every time. People like find me, tell me their stories. I'll like, people have told me like horrifying things. I'm just like, I wish you had never told me that. And like, but like, I'm just like,
Yep.
you did what?
Yeah.
You saw what?
Maybe you are an empath.
Yeah.
and
I might
you just
be.
didn't. I mean, have you been familiar with like?
Do you have
The-
periods of time where you're like, I need to get away from these people?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I have a funny story. I don't know. I used to work for a lighting company, and we were doing a job, and we took lunch, and we were like standing out by the van, and we were like smoking cigarettes, and like we were like talking about stuff, and like I saw this like really like crazy looking lady like walking through the parking lot of the mall, just kind of like weaving and bobbing through there, and I was like.
You're preparing yourself.
I was like, no, I just like took a deep breath and I was like, please don't let her come over here, Lord. And like, like the guys out there, they're like, Christian, you're kind of a dick. Sorry. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, you just don't understand. Like, they know where I am. Yeah, but anyway, no, I do listen to people's stories, and
Yeah.
I will listen to their like craziness, and I don't know. It just kind of, it's always been drawn to me, so it's kind of cool to like turn it into a platform, and like we just find, like people find us, like
Yeah.
like there'll be like dry periods, like there was a couple weeks ago where we had like just like nothing for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden it's just been like boom, 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 boom.
That's great.
People just come out of the woodwork and want to tell their stories,
Yeah.
and I think one thing that I really like about it is that it helps people like hearing someone else talk about it, because then someone's like, oh, whoa, that happened to me. But it was like this, you know, like, but you know, they relate, and it's like, it's kind of cool to like, it's like spiritual awareness, paranormal awareness.
Yeah.
You need a little ribbon for that.
That's
Yeah.
paranormal awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's true. Like, I mean, there's tons of people that I know outside of the two of us, right, that have some sort of story. Like, it seems like everybody's got some
Yeah.
sort of like paranormal something
Right.
to talk about. So it's nice to have. It's good that you have like this platform that is very non-judgmental. Although I feel like your audience might hate me because I'm just like, this shit's not real.
No, that's
but,
all right.
That's like super seriously though, like non-judgmental and like very open to hearing all sorts of theories. I mean, we talked about everything from like sleep paralysis to hauntings to aliens today. Like, I don't know.
We didn't even touch the Mothman.
Okay, we're not going to touch the
That's a whole
Mothman.
other episode.
Cryptids is a part 2.
Yeah.
Oh man, the Mothman, the Mothman.
Mothman, he's here.
Can I just say one little thing about the Mothman?
Yes.
Yes,
Get
you
your
can.
Mothman t-shirt.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
know.
Rockford Mothman t-shirt.
Oh, sorry, are you serious?
Yeah.
Why don't we
I
have
am
those?
Super cereal.
Merch idea.
Yes. Actually,
we need some
the
t-shirts.
artist is Tim Stotts, who's doing it. He I think he's part of 317.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
317
Yes.
Art Collective.
They're
Rockford.
everywhere. They're everywhere. Yeah.
But no. Okay, the Marengo, was it Marengo or no? Woodstock.
Woodstock had a
Woodstock.
sighting.
Yeah.
O'Hare. Out here.
Yeah.
So okay, I had heard about I don't know which one was first. There was like somebody saw the Mothman, and then not too much longer after that, there was a kid found dead. Did you ever hear that?
I didn't know.
There was like a little kid that went went missing.
Mystery missing.
Went mystery. No, sorry. Or like I think it was a kid. Like somebody was like found in the woods dead
There was
in Woodstock.
a teenager, or maybe he was a young college student. He was found in a ditch.
Yeah.
He went missing, and they found him in a ditch.
But they were right around the same. They were close, because usually the Mothman
Yeah.
is like a
I think that was a
warning.
year or two ago, which is around the time when, because of the Mothman, the whole premise is that he's supposed to...
Doesn't he normally do bridge collapses, though? Isn't that
just
kind of
that
his
one time.
MO?
Just
That
that
was
one
the
guy.
one
Just that one
time. That's like his big. That was like his big.
See,
thing.
I only know like surface level.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to cryptids, I'm immediately like, nah,
You don't think so?
no,
No Loch Ness?
Oh,
no.
the Bigfoot.
No? No?
It's
New Jersey
you know what?
Devil? Nothing?
It's fun to imagine it. I think life would be much more
Bigfoot.
fun if it was real. Bigfoot, totally identify with. My feet are giant, like for real. But I'm tall. There's a lot of person to keep upright. So, but I really am like, yeah, nah.
I feel like there's lots of creatures that we will never see that are in, the Mariana Trench, in the rainforest. Like, there are places that we just don't go
Right.
that we will never see. Now,
That's
not
fair.
necessarily
Yeah, that's
an
fair.
ape man, perhaps, but I mean, like,
Or a giant sea monster.
maybe.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
the depths of the ocean.
A lake monster.
Maybe not a lake monster, but definitely an ocean monster.
Stuff in caves.
Yeah.
Sharks.
Shark.
Yeah.
The
Meg.
mythical shark.
I'm like,
Meg.
I don't believe in that.
We still do not know anything about sharks.
I've never
Sharks
seen a
are
shark. I've never seen a shark personally.
But I
not
mean,
real.
And
I don't even
there's
mean this.
even
I just-
microscopic things that we don't even see
Yeah.
that exist.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
all the types of phytoplanktons that you can't even
Gross.
imagine. So I think
Yeah.
for sure that there's lots of creatures out there that we have never seen.
Okay.
Oh man.
None of them are cryptids.
But what is a cryptid?
Hot take?
But
Put
what-
my money
but
on
what
it.
is a cryptid?
Listen, you know what a cryptid is.
It's a creature that
Don't
we
play devil's
don't
advocate.
ever see.
No, get out of here. Get out of here.
Just saying.
You know what that is. I will not be taken in by your feminine mystique.
Chupacabra. Don't you Betty
I
Friedan
feel like
me.
you just channeled Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn for a moment. Don't you do that to me. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, that's,
Can you tell we've known each other for a little
you know
while?
I love it. This is like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I feel like I need to do
This
more.
is actually, this recording is the first time that Janelle and I have been in person since
We recorded for the Fringe Festival,
yeah. Which was like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
3 months ago?
You haven't seen each other in 2 months?
Yeah. We record over the phone in our own
Remotely.
respective homes.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for
Risking it all.
risking
No.
putting everything on the line for this.
No. It's
Local
good. I miss this girl.
I mean, when
It's
we
nice.
record though, we face each
Yeah.
other and we yell.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
It's a really nice dynamic because we can actually like feed off of each other's energy,
No, I
which
like
is
it. You guys are
quite different
great.
over the phone. Like
Yeah,
it's a little
very different. I feel like
Yeah.
we get really lost sometimes because you'll be like, "What? Where
Wait,
are you?
what?
Where are you? What are you saying?"
Yeah. So
And I'm like in the other room, like, Vicky, my dog has to go outside. You
Yeah.
know, like it's
all
very
thing.
disjointed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like when we record
I
like
miss
live
you.
events too. When we do live events, I feel
yeah.
like
Oh,
we
it's so
really
fun. So
get
fun.
going.
Yeah.
No, you guys have amazing chemistry. Like you guys are like
Thanks.
one.
It's the nicest thing anybody said to me all day.
Because you haven't seen anyone in 2 months.
It's true.
Yeah. the whole 4 people you work with.
God, yeah.
Oh,
True.
man. Whew. Well, did we cover it?
I think so. I mean, we could go on for probably another 4 hours, but y'all don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
Nobody
no.
wants to listen to a podcast for like 8 hours.
No,
So.
no, I don't know.
Unless you're
I don't
Joe
even know if
Rogan.
Apple would let you upload a 8-hour podcast.
It's just like 24 hours of nonstop. A few bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
But we kept
No
going.
bathroom breaks.
Only
No
podcast.
breaks. Just go right where you're at. No, I'm so glad that you contacted me. This was
Yeah.
like, this was a good
This is
time.
Yeah,
fun.
it's fun.
It's
I love
fun.
doing crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my second one. How'd I do?
Yeah.
Do okay? I
good,
just listened
yeah.
to you. I
Great.
don't think I did
You're-
anything.
It was funny because when I
Yeah.
told Vicky, I was like, "You're gonna do this," and she listened, and she's like, "They sound way more professional than us."
Yes.
I was like,
real.
"Yeah, it's true."
We've been doing this for almost 4 years, and we still do not know what we're doing.
We still kind of fumble and bumble a bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was like, we'll just go get in that post.
So kudos to you.
Yeah.
You sound
And you,
so
and you,
legit.
and you. Good job, guys.
Thank you. We try to be professional. We try to keep it. I think Aaron keeps us professional.
Yeah.
It's called editing.
Yeah.
Exactly how
called
our
editing,
sound
too.
editor is. She's like, you've said 1,000 ums.
Yeah. She emailed us the other day. It was like, it literally sounds like a plane took off over somebody's house. What's going on?
And there was literally
Janelle
a
said
plane that
there was
took
a
off.
plane that took off.
Well, like we just
There was
let
a
our
crop duster out of my control.
we crop duster.
I
Yeah.
live out by a field. Yeah.
Farms.
Yeah, farms
My
and
nickname in
stuff.
college.
Hey.
Anyway, sorry. No, but we just let it ride.
Yeah.
I mean, like you might hear some bumps and noises. We just because it's conversational.
Yeah.
We want it to
Exactly.
be real.
Yeah.
It makes you more human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say human. I
Yeah.
mean, we're humans.
Or
Good job at being humans, guys. You're fooling everyone.
are we
Aaron,
simulation?
votes out on Aaron. Votes out on Aaron. Patty too. Mike and I are for sure humans.
For sure.
100% Homo sapiens.
Maybe.
Not for each other. Wait.
All sapiens?
Just kidding.
Almost sapiens.
Almost
I
sapiens.
said Homo sapiens because that's the correct term. Anywho.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, all right, let's end it. So thank you to Vicky and Janelle
Yeah.
Yeah.
from
The Bad Taste Crowdcast.
for being a part of this conglomeration, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to Janelle and Vicky from Bad Taste Crimecast for contacting me about doing this crossover, and we can find you guys at...
On Facebook at the Bad Taste Crimecast, on Instagram and Twitter at BT Crimecast. You can also find us at badtastecrimecast.com, where if you like this episode that we did with Maybe It's Spiritual, you can find more like this, except a little bit more murdery and less
A lot more
paranormally.
Yes.
More
Yeah.
normally. You know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And you can find Maybe It's Spiritual on Instagram. It's Maybe It's Spiritual. We have a Gmail, Maybe It's Spiritual at gmail.com, which I've still never gotten an email, but I might.
We're going to send
never
you an
know.
email.
Please
We'll
do.
be your
You're gonna
first
get an
email.
email.
Yay. And then all of you Apple listeners out there, go ahead and leave a comment because I like them. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
In Los Angeles, a killer the police are calling the Hillside Strangler has murdered 10 young women and left their bodies on the hillsides along the highway.
It was as if a wave of evil washed over this town.
We are all evil.